Hey Virgo, what's going on? We are here with a timeless reading. Welcome. The first card that we have out is Nine of Wands. And the High Priestess. Okay, having Nine of Wands is a time when you can feel like you've been going through something and it can feel challenging, but you can also feel simultaneously determined, like I'm not gonna give up, I'm gonna keep doing this. I've been like through all of this so much already, and so I don't plan on sort of like backing down here, even though you can feel like a little bit bruised or just that you've been really tested sort of going through this period. Okay. Now we also have the High Priestess here too, and so this can be something that you feel like is really challenging on a personal level. You can feel like it's maybe mentally challenging, you can feel like maybe emotionally challenging when we have the moon be involved. Because this can touch like the most personal parts of yourself, you can feel like that's where this is sort of coming up for you. This feels too like your intuition is saying one thing. You can say your intuition, you can say your inner wisdom, you can say your inner knowing is saying one thing, and then I'm seeing Seven of Swords and I'm seeing Five of Wands sort of coming in your direction, and this feels like not being misled. Let's talk about the Seven of Swords. This can be somebody around you, but more than anything, I see Seven of Swords as being some type of cognitive distortion when we have. What I mean by that is it's something that we could possibly be thinking, like a thought that we could have, or a thought linked to a behavior, but it is not aligned with truth. And so it's going to be a distortion of some sort mentally. So I'm seeing Seven of Swords kind of like sneaking its way towards you, and this feels like some type of cognitive distortion that's coming in your direction to make things more complicated. If you're going through a time when you feel like you have to really stick to your guns here, and when I say your guns, I mean with the High Priestess, this is your inner wisdom, this is your inner knowing, this is that deepest part of yourself. When you tune into it, what is it saying to you? And the knowledge that is connected with that. And the basis of this being truth. So when we have the Seven of Swords coming up, this can be something that could influence you to take you away from that. To take you in a place, away into a place of darkness of some sort. Darkness meaning obscurity. Darkness meaning away from truth. Something that would pull you off the path of truth. Pull you off the path of inner knowing. So whatever this thing is that's coming up, it's coming to kick some stuff up, and it feels like, are you going to resist this? Or is this something that you are going to submit to? What are you going to do here? And when it comes to the High Priestess, this is like a really deep need to trust yourself and to trust your instinct here. And to not be influenced by something that would possibly try to like dominate or take over that part of you that really relies on self-trust and self-connection, connection with spirit. And this can also be some way of thinking that kicks up turmoil. Where is this coming from? I feel like this is also too the difference between knowing what you know and that being something that allows you to feel a sense of peace and reassurance that you can rest within, that feels comforting to you in a way where you know that it's the truth, versus something that's coming up to sort of stir the pot here. And in a way where it is based on chaos. And coming from a place of ignorance as well. This can also be a time where it's like you have your better judgment or better knowing here, and this comes up to say, like, are you sure you know that? Or are you sure you want to lean into that? Like, do you really want to be doing things in that way? Or do you maybe want to do things in a different way that you could see as being somewhat problematic? It's kind of like when the shadow coming up and saying, hey, you want to play a game with me? And you can say no, or you can decide to sort of go into that place. Now, what I'm seeing the Seven of Swords be clarified by is Three of Swords and Six of Swords. This feels like something painful that you've actually understood and moved through that can be revisiting you now. This can be something from the past that's coming back up. I do get the sense that you've worked through this already. And also, too, it can be coming up again and saying, hey, do you want to play? And you get to choose what you want to do. I do get the sense that you already understand this energy and that it's something that you can choose whether you engage in it or not. It can be something that like triggers you to get you involved as well. I kind of get this being a time when you can really be focusing on your like wellness and I feel like a spiritual wellness, like an emotional wellness, like a mental wellness, that notion of things. This energy coming up feels like something that would sort of disturb that sense of peace, that would bring sort of some chaos to your doorstep. Kind of like, aren't you bored over there just like taking care of yourself and whatnot? It feels like this is something that would come up and be disruptive. Okay, where are you right now currently? I'm seeing you be on a path right now where you want to be. You know this to be true for yourself. You know that this is something that fits well. This fits right for you to be here. I see this as being something where there's that you have been led by your soul to be where you are, and you are making the most like practical, well thought out, you are taking the most practical, well thought out steps with where you are. So you're on a path that you want to be on, and slowly but surely you are continuing to take steps, to make steps, to take steps where you are like investing in this. So this means like the moves that you're making contribute to this path that you're on. It's not always feeling easy to do this. It's not always feeling easy to, the word remarkable is coming through. The reason why this can feel challenging at times is because this can be like the slow steps that are being taken, and even though every step is marked by being incredibly, it contributes so much, you can feel like it's a more slow, steady process that you're involved in here. Whatever this is that's attempting to come through, it feels like it will possibly throw this off if this is allowed in, but you get to choose what you want to do with this. This can even be thoughts that would be disruptive to what you have going on here. Okay, so whatever this is that's coming up, it feels like it could get to you on an emotional level. And it may be sort of like latching on to you emotionally if you allow that and saying, come enter the chaos. And it feels too like it would take you out of taking these more, I don't know if responsible would be the right word, but there's more of a, I get the feeling of you when the energy is over here, it's like you're just like minding your business, doing your thing, you're like stacking up steps within your life that feel like this is really contributing to something that feels important to me. Like, I'm happy to be here, I'm happy to be doing this. Whatever this thing is that comes through, it feels like on an emotional level, it kind of is like sort of like playing around in your face a little bit here, where it's like, pay attention to me, like react to me. And it feels like it would take you off of take you away from from a way that you've been doing things, and get you to channel a different type of energy and make a move with that energy that may possibly not be on the same page as where you had been. Feels like something that's trying to get you to engage with it, but it's trying to get you to engage in something that feels very chaotic. Like, if you were to enter into that space, you would just be entering something very chaotic, and then you're there in the chaos as well. I'm seeing Three of Swords too. I feel like this is something that could bring up pain for you. Like, you would sort of be entering into something that could feel like it sort of rips some things open for you that you may not want to be happening. And then feels like leaving everything, feeling a sense of disappointment. Like, that's sort of where this leads to. Some of you, this is happening within a close relationship of yours, but I almost feel like over here, the energy is you doing things where you feel like, I'm really aligned with myself. I'm really like honoring myself here. These are things that I'm doing that really matter to me, that feel like when I'm just connecting with myself and saying like, what are we meant to be doing? You want to be here. This is something that I'm happy to be doing. This is something that I feel inspired to be doing. That's what's going on over there. And this is like, it clicks with you. It connects with you. It resonates with you. Now, this thing over here feels like something coming through, and there being, I think, like overall something that would just like get to you if you would allow that. And I do feel like it challenges your better judgment, where if you take a moment to be like, is this actually in my best interest? I think you'd get some insight into this. Because it feels like no matter what it is that you sort of are offering here, because I'm seeing High Priestess and I'm seeing Knight of Pentacles. And so this is you from a place that really is connected with something that is tapped in, something that is tuned in, and saying, here, I can offer this to you. It feels like it's being offered to the Seven of Swords, which is an energy that's really going to abuse that offering that you would give. It doesn't matter how solid this is. And it feels like it will take it and add to the chaos. And I'm seeing something that feels like it's connected with pain, connected with disappointment. And you potentially being involved in this, I think if you involve yourself. For some reason, I feel strongly like you have a choice here of whether or not you sort of involve yourself in this. Maybe involve yourself further in this. Because it feels like as much as a solid sort of offer you can be trying to make to show up and sort of bring this and say like, I'm carrying this with me, it's something that feels solid, it feels like it translates into something painful at the end of the day. And so as much as you may want to share something that you feel could maybe help, because I'm seeing High Priestess and I'm seeing Knight of Cups, so this feels like there's a part of you that's saying this is sort of the best way to play this. If you move forward, I feel like you're going to be entering something where conflict is already there and you will just be sort of joining that. But you can also be like, I'm trying to, what is it? When something sort of neutralize is the word. You can be thinking like, if I come in and I do it like that, there's a hope that this would neutralize. I don't know if that's really the case, that that's possible, because we have the Seven of Swords here. If Seven of Swords wasn't here, I'd say that that might be possible. But the thing is, I feel like whatever, if you try to, okay, it's like this. If you have something to offer and you're giving it to an energy that can accept that in truth and can accept that from a place that is really in tune and connected, then it's going to be used in a way that will be helpful. But if you are trying to contribute to an energy that's like not in that place to receive it, it's not going to do what you think it's going to do, no matter what. Well, it's not going to help anyway. And then I feel almost like you would be left feeling that way as well. Like, instead of going through and saying, if I contribute this, it's going to neutralize, it feels like the end product is like everybody's hurt now and upset. And then there can even be a like, why am I doing that? And this can be something that's already played out, and maybe there's like a request for you to come back into a situation like this. But the thing is, I want to say this again, we have the Seven of Swords here. So this means that this isn't a thing where it would be like, please, like, come and help me. This feels like that may be, for some reason I'm seeing there be a, like, I think that I should like contribute here in this way, but then it's just, the Seven of Swords is somebody in a space where they can like distort this and even like turn it around in a way that makes it harmful even. And it feels like knowing that, like, you know better here. Because as much as you may want to do this, this feels like a, Seven of Swords is feeling to me like an energy that is in a shadow place. And so no matter what it is that you try to say, like, here, have this, it's like not in a, it's not in a grounded place, and it's not in a place of light right now. And so it feels like no matter what you sort of try to contribute to that, it's going to be impacted by that Seven of Swords energy. The Seven of Swords is a very disempowered energy. So it will sort of latch on to what it is that you're giving and then twist it around in a way that dilutes it with something. It like takes away the potency, and it feels kind of like, why did I do that in the first place? So this can be maybe more something that you end up keeping to yourself a bit. Can we get more about this Seven of Swords? I'm hearing harm reduction. I feel strongly, like, for those of you, this can be something that's happening between you and yourself here. Yes, there can be one part of you that's saying move through it like this. There can be another part of you that's like move through it like that. And you know which one is better to do, but it may be more difficult to do that because there can be parts of you that are feeling triggered by this. And so you want to do it a certain way, but then it's not going to accomplish what you think it's going to accomplish by doing that, or what you hope that it will. Because this feels very much like, for example, this can be you giving somebody solid advice, but because they're in a shadow place, taking that, distorting it, taking what they want from that, not actually following the advice, doing something else, and then saying, well, you told me to do it. It feels kind of like that type of thing here, where I feel like this will, for some reason, like come back on you. Because whatever this Seven of Swords energy is, it's not in the place to really hear the High Priestess. Because the High Priestess works on a frequency that is connected with truth. Seven of Swords is like not able to hear that. Like they can't tune to that station. in that frequency. Because it's a shadow energy. And so if it were able to receive the light, it would have to come out of the shadow, and it feels like it's not wanting to. Because it is disempowered. And because that's what it's willing to do right now. That is its process. I feel like maybe whatever progress had been made possibly has to be suspended until there's more resolution, which may not necessarily be up to you here in this case. Let's say it another way. Having High Priestess and having Nine of Wands means it's going to be really hard, and you may not want to, but you need to listen to your intuition here. You need to listen to the High Priestess here. Now, there is a part of your shadow energy coming up that's saying, hey, let's do this instead. And now there's conflict where High Priestess is telling you one thing and shadow is telling you another thing. And now you get to figure out what you want to do here. This feels like if shadow is listened to and High Priestess is not listened to, that there can be a move that's made that ends in pain and disappointment. And that's why there's a need to listen to the High Priestess. But that also doesn't mean that you have to, because this can be something where like maybe you listen to the shadow and then see what happens. And then maybe that can be something that influences you to listen to the High Priestess then. And knowing, oh, I can trust the High Priestess. Because shadow is going to be saying, no, do this instead. Like, don't trust that. And so, like, the influence of it already is sort of working there. It's, again, High Priestess is going to be your better knowing. High Priestess is like when your consciousness turns on and is like the angel on your shoulder saying, well, I see the High Priestess as actually being like a neutral energy. But it's saying, like, this is in your best interest versus whatever that is over there, that's a distorted sort of station that's tuned to, that's based in something that is not transparent, and that's where that advice is coming from. And which one are you going to follow then? Which one do you put your faith in, essentially? And it feels like if the shadow is what one puts their faith in, that what sort of comes about is exactly what the shadow's plan has sort of been all along. And it feels like ending in a place like this is what the end result will be. The pain, and then being like, oh, I could have stopped that from happening, or like I didn't have to make that choice, or like I should have listened to myself there. I should have listened to the High Priestess, that part of you that is connected with your inner wisdom. The thing about this is, though, that no matter which way this ends up going, whether you listen to the High Priestess and you get a more desirable outcome, or you listen to the shadow and then get an outcome where you're like, I don't like the way that this went, you're gonna learn something anyway. So there's no like right or wrong. It's just like you don't have to go through that, but if you do go through that, it will be one of those times where you feel like you learn from it. And so there's no option where you're not going to gain something. You will gain something no matter what you do here. And for those of you that this situation already occurred, now can be the time when you check in and say, back there, I remember there's this part of me that gave me some good advice and I ignored it. And now this happened and I don't want that to happen again. So next time when I hear that part of me, even though it's difficult to listen to, I'm going to do that instead. And so gain anyway. Whether it happened or didn't happen, regardless of what happens, gain. And if you do end up listening to your intuition and then you get that result, you'll see what you nearly missed. And so gain again, always. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.